Alright, welcome back. It's been a little while, but been working on the thing. I just hadn't had time to record anything. So let me start off saying the front suspension's done. I'll start off, kind of walk around. So I've got the Wilwood Dynapro brakes done. So they're the black, drilled slotted, 4-piston with the dust boots. I don't have the center caps on for the wheels. Just for the time being, I put them on like this. There's plenty of clearance, as you can see. On the inside, there's a whole ton of clearance. So that worked out perfect. So, like I said, I had to clearance the bottom of the lower control arm a little for the QA1 coilovers. So I set these coilovers 10 clicks in on each, which is about halfway. So I just went through. All the suspension's been blasted, painted. So these are Heidts, upper and lower tubular control arms, QA1 coilovers. They are, I believe, Speedway spindles. They're standard height. I might end up doing a 2-inch drop on these. I haven't decided. That is a Fox Body Mustang rack, tie rod ends. I have Fox Body power steering pump and lines. It should all work out pretty good. So like I said, I put the rack extenders in. I've greased the upper and lower ball joints, the tie rod ends. I need to put the cotter pins in the lower, or in the tie rod ends, but I've got everything done with the spacers in the upper and lower ball joints. Everything's been torqued. I went through and rechecked everything, paint, marked everything that needed to be done. The only thing that might need to be done with the front is I have to do the, you see right there, this is where the brake line goes on, so I need to, at some point in time, fab up some brake mount, or brake hose mounts. So my next step is to do the engine mounts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the body up, move it backwards, set the engine in. I'm offsetting the engine to this side by 1.5 inches, which should put it pretty close to in line because the 9-inch has an offset pinion. So that should work pretty good. I've got the coilovers slammed all the way down. They're like maybe a turn up from the bottom. So these supposedly have a 3-inch drop at the bottom, but these are very, very stiff. Here's the part number. Ooh. Let's see if I can get it. It won't do anything for me. There we go. That's the part number for the front coilover. Springs, but I think they might be a little stiff. I believe they're 500 pounds. So I might just need to figure out where that's going to lay. So the sway bar's in, mounted. I've got a little bit of a clearance issue at full lock. So if you watch, when you turn it full lock, right there, we're getting a little bit of contact. The bottom of the tie rod end is tapping the bottom of the bottom mount for the sway bar link. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. Tell you the truth, there's not a whole lot I can do. I don't know. It's not a huge issue. It somewhat limits the steering, but as you can see, I mean, we've got quite a bit of turn on that. So I might look into it and see if there's anything else. So the newer style Heidts lower control arms have those raised, and which I actually think that would make it quite a bit worse. So another option is to cut those off, get another set of mounts, flip them and put them on the bottom underneath, and then get longer end lengths. But for the time being, these will work. I roughly set the toe, caster and camber is nowhere close. Everything's been torqued down. Like I said, the ball joints are done. The lower control arm, upper control arm are torqued down. The rack of pinions torqued down. The sway bar's down. So the front end's basically done. The brakes turn out. I wish I could have gone with the 6 piston, the 12 point some inch, but I just didn't have the room in the wheels. So with this, you can see it doesn't fill out the wheels all the way, but you know, I think it looks fine. So here's the old rotors that were on there. So these were never driven on the road. They were a zinc coated rotor. I'm sure there's some Chinese junk, but yeah, actually they never even saw the outside. This is where, with the stock Mustang 2 lower ball joints, that's where the ball joint was, or the stock lower control arms, that's where the ball joint was rubbing. So I don't even know how they use these with the stock control arms and everything, but with the height stuff, it's fine. What else? So I knocked out the front spring perches for the leaf springs that were in there, and that's where all that dirt and everything's from. I think that's it for about now. Like I said, my next project's going to be working on getting the motor mounts drilled and bolted down. And when I do that, I'm going to do the transmission mount at the same time. So that's my next little hurdle. But the front end's done, so I'm happy about that. So once I get the motor mounts and transmission mount, then I'll move on to getting the rear suspension buttoned up for good.